Hey everyone, this is Sir Michael at Readon. Before anything, I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. I had to take a little reprieve from the family to go ahead and shoot this video, and this one is a good one. Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. I'm sure already a lot of people have read this book. It's already been out for quite some time. I think it became the best-selling biography ever, you know, and I had never read any of Walter Isaacson's books before. I heard a lot of great stuff about the biography he wrote on Benjamin Franklin, so that will be something I read eventually. But for now, I went ahead and finished Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. Some of the themes in this book were revelations. Some things I already knew, the story of Apple, the story of how Apple was founded by Jobs and Wozniak in their garage, how the Apple II took off, later on the Macintosh, and in about 20, 30 years, the world, the digital and technological world, were revolutionized. I think that the aim of Steve Jobs was always to marry technology and the liberal arts, which was a point that was constantly emphasized in this biography. What I thought was that Isaacson actually uh, took a lot of care to write a book that was very fair and balanced. I think that one of the last pages you see all the people that he interviewed to write this book, and I was just completely mind boggled. I think he interviewed over 100 people to write this book. It wasn't just Steve Jobs; it was family, colleagues, enemies, world leaders. What do world leaders know about Steve Jobs? But he interviewed just about any and everyone to get to the heart of who Steve Jobs was. Now, who was he? Not a very nice guy, according to a lot of people. I mean, he was a prick uh, to just about everybody who worked with him. And by the way, these are the same people that love him, but they'll tell you in a second he was a prick. At the same time, it took the kind of force that he had to create a company like Apple and make it what it eventually became. Did he have to be so mean? Probably not. But at the end of the day, I think that his meanness, if you will, can be forgiven by the fact that he was, let's face it, a visionary genius. Everything from the design of the iMac, which really I guess was the brainchild of Joni Ive. Steve Jobs always had a reputation for taking credit for things that he himself did not design. But it goes without saying that he made it a point to hire the best people for his company. And I've always decided that with my companies, I'm always going to hire A players. That's something that I completely agree with Steve Jobs. Whenever you create a company, whenever you found a company, you hire the best talent for your company. You don't hire B players, you hire A players because B players and A players don't get along. And not only that, B players won't take you very far with your company. The other really, really cool thing about Steve Jobs is we already know about the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad. We already know about all that stuff. And apparently now a television. I think they're working on a television. Um, the what a lot of people don't know is that also the retail stores. That was his brainchild. The way that his retail stores are, all glass for the most part, all white, very minimalist designs. I mean, his stores are absolutely gorgeous. There's one out here outside of Chicago in Skokie at the Old Orchard Mall, and it is just beautiful. Every time I pass by that store, I'm just like amazed, and that's one of the things that it's not often mentioned when Steve Jobs is talked about. He was very arrogant. I think especially towards the end of his life, he became a victim of his own distortion reality field. He became convinced that he could heal himself when in reality he really did need that invasive lung surgery, which probably would have lengthened his life by a few years. But that was just the type of person that Steve Jobs was. He was very, very erratic. He was a genius, yes, but as so often you find with geniuses, he was a very erratic person. Um, One thing that I kind of noticed about this biography, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I am, but I don't think Isaacson actually ever mentioned the PC versus Mac ads, which I absolutely love. He mentioned a lot, like, for example, his being ousted from Apple, founding Next, and then working with Pixar, and then coming back to Apple. His battle with John Scully, with Louis Gasset, and with so many of the other Silicon Valley tycoons. And he talks a lot about the ads too and the marketing that made Apple so successful. So it definitely surprised me when he did not mention anything about the Mac versus PC ads. He did also mention that famous and infamous interview that he did with Bill Gates, which you can find on YouTube. Um, and like I said, this is very fair and balanced. Steve Jobs personally vetted Walter Isaacson to write this biography for him. Initially, Isaacson didn't want to do it because he felt that Steve Jobs was still alive and still had much to accomplish. However, when it became clear that he got cancer and would not live very long, Isaacson made it a point to go ahead and write this biography. I think that this is something that his children will definitely appreciate because he did not spend much time with his children, and I think that it's a biography that the world will appreciate. So do read Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson and keep staying tuned to read on with Sir Michael Rivera.